All right, BradCooney.com is absolutely honored to have on board from season 11 of The Voice, Mr. Billy Gilman. Billy, thank you so much. Honored to have you on board.
Hello, my man. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Fans are excited to have you as part of the show. I guess the first thing I got for you is, how does it feel to be back, man?
You know, it's amazing to be back, but to be back and singing the songs in the kind of style and the kind of way that I so badly wanted to sing, even when I was younger, it's pretty amazing. I never thought I'd have that opportunity, I'll tell you that. So it's pretty cool, I will say that. It's very amazing so far. It's crazy.
And you alluded to that after your blind audition, I believe it was. It's really important to you, isn't it, to sing what you really, really passionately want to sing about?
Oh my God, absolutely. I mean, of course, country music is in my bones. It's what I grew up on. It's what gave me my first introduction to the world. You can't be ignorant about that, and I'm not. And I love country music, and it will forever hold a spot in my soul. But so many times as I got older and really started to find out who I was, because who in the hell knows who they are at 12 years old?
Yeah, no kidding.
I don't know. But I loved the journey. But when as I got older, 13, 14, I'm a quick learner, I guess. 15 and 16, I started to realize that before my voice changed, I'm singing these huge songs, but I'm not allowed to sing them because it doesn't fit. I mean, I would do whatever I was asked to do, and I would do my duties and all of that, and I would go back to my room or my own studio, my own private time, and I would belt out these, Michael Jackson ballads or Celine Dion or trying to think of who was around then. Just these Michael Bolton, all these big ballads and these big songs. I'm thinking, God, I really wish America could see this, because there's not too many kids that are doing this right now. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. So then when the voice change hit, that was a tough time, because it really just went away completely. It just went away. It didn't crack like the funny Peter Brady thing. It just went away.
Wow.
And it took a long time for it to come back, and it took almost 2 years to relearn my voice. But then when it was finally there, I could sing those songs still, and it was amazing, and I was very grateful that it came back the way it did. And so I would songwrite, still thinking I wanted to be country, but continually getting no's. No, we've already tried this. No, we don't get it. We don't think a child star, a tricky thing to invest in. All of that, and as the industry got more and more download savvy, the worse off the record labels got. So it was just a tough, dark time, because I always took it as a personal attack. Well, apparently I'm not good enough. I don't, whatever. So within that time, The Voice asked a few times me to be on the show, to audition. And I immediately went to what I'm hearing from these record people and these management people and these, no, America's not going to get it. They're not going to like you. That you've had the one shot and you're done. So I kept saying no for season after season after season, because I was just scared to death. So finally this season, at 28 years old, I said, you know what? I'm going to investigate a little more, and I want to get some people's opinions. So I asked some people that were a part of my career when I was 12 that are no longer in the music business, but are very smart. And literally everyone, almost to the sentence, said the same thing. What have you got to lose? Go do you. And I thought, that's exactly what I want to do if I say yes. I'm going to do what I've been wanting to do since almost this one voice.
Yeah.
And so I said yes. And then the journey began.
And you know what's really cool about The Voice is, I'm glad that they had their backs turned to you so nobody could recognize you. And you had to earn that thing just like everybody else had to earn it. There was no, because you were a former star, there was no advantage. You were on the same equal playing field as everybody else, which I think is great.
Oh yeah, listen, I don't want to, a childhood career is very rare. It's something you cannot take for granted, but I did not want to get anywhere there in my next life, if you will, just on that alone, because to me it's better now because I'm a grown person.
Right.
So I'm so happy, and that was probably one of the main reasons why I even thought about doing this show, is because no matter what people may think, it is truly a blind audition. No one has a clue. It would have been sussed out seasons ago if that was the case. People would love to find that out, that it was rigged. So that, to me, made me comfortable being with all the other contestants, because I know how I feel inside. I know how scared, vulnerable. I'm just with them. Many of them sing better than me, can write better than me, can dance better than me, can act better than me. But to them, because of some kind of a history that I've had, some grew up with my music, so it was kind of funny. It doesn't matter, because we're all in that together, and that's the only reason I really even gave it a thought, is because they have no clue in that first reaction.
Yeah, that was great.
And that's pretty remarkable.
It really is. It was great. All right, so let's touch on the blind audition real quick. This is the first time you've been on the show, and then we'll get into your battle round performance. Blind audition was great. You got 4 chair turns. Just talk about that experience walking out, because that was, that was really big for you to come out there and get those chair turns.
It was awesome. There were a couple people, and I listen to everything. I listen to people. I listen to advice. I'm not one to just solely go on my own gut, my own merit. In the end, I will do that, but I have to hear other people's stories and other people's thoughts. That's just how I am. And there were a few people actually on this season that didn't get any chairs turned, and being close quarters with all these people, you hear them sing, right? So you're at a piano in a hotel lobby, and people are getting to know each other, and you're singing and you're harmonizing. It's like a little camp, you know what I mean? And so all of a sudden, this so-and-so is singing and wailing and beautifully singing, and they didn't get any chairs turned. I'm thinking, what?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, how in the heck did that not get a turn? I'm screwed. So it's a build-up, and I let sometimes myself get the best of me, but going through this process, you choose songs, and you get rid of songs, you choose songs, you get rid of songs, and finally the song we all chose was When We Were Young by Adele, and I thought that's pretty brilliant for me, because that's the kind of music and the kind of career I want to imitate and emulate, So, and plus it means, it's kind of interesting, when we were young, I can kind of relate, given my past history. So it was, I was happy they chose it, and for me to showcase that kind of vocal artistry that I know I'm capable of that early on. So they chose that song, we rehearsed it, the time came, and I stood there, and I was so happy they didn't pan down on my legs a lot, because it looked like we're on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
They were shaking so bad, let me tell you. Oh my God. It's insane how nervous I get. Like, I've sang in front of people a lot in my life, but I've never been this nervous, ever. So I opened my eyes pretty near the whole half of the song, and I saw that Adam first turn. And all I looked up to when I walked out was, okay, just one chair.
Yeah.
One. Come on. And so he turned, and then Miley turned shortly thereafter. I closed my eyes. I said, okay, I can sing this song now. I can do it what I want. The pressure's off a little bit. So I hit the notes and all this, and I opened my eyes, and all the chairs, they were all staring at me.
Yeah.
And I just, as you saw, I put my head in my hands, and I just cried for a good 20 seconds. I'm like, all right, calm down, Gilman. Don't look like a retard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
But yeah. Don't embarrass yourself. So, but it's important to see. I think looking on it, if I cry, so what? I can't help it. It's genuine. You know what I mean? I don't expect to get anywhere just because everyone is so brilliant on the show and so humble and so kind. You're lucky to get anywhere. You're all equal. 50,000 people don't audition, and only 99 get the chance to audition in front of the judges. So it's a very fortunate thing, even right there. It really is. You got to be grateful.
Absolutely. Who really is I think is going to be a real threat in this competition is Michael Sanchez. He only got one chair when he did his audition, and thank God somebody turned around for him. And man, his performance the other night was like, wow, this guy's he just surprised me with his diversity. He's going to be a tough one.
And let me tell you something. He is good. He is as humble and as kind and as giving and as sincere as he is talented. So what does that say?
Yeah, man. Whole package. That's good stuff.
He's one of the, you get to intermingle with these great people and their backstories and all of this. And he really was one. Him and Dave Moisen.
Yeah, they're both great guys.
And good friends, and they're crazy talented. So happy to know them, that's for sure.
Yeah, they've both been on the show, my podcast show already, and I just enjoyed talking to both of them.
Awesome.
Yeah. Hey, so let me ask you this: did it cross your mind that how you would deal if no chairs turned for you?
I don't. No, I would be totally honest with you. I didn't think. I'm thinking more of what do I do now?
Yeah.
Than I did then.
Right.
I can't. It's not a cocky thing because if they didn't turn, they didn't turn. If anything, that's anti-cocky. That's a major humbling effect.
Sure.
But I didn't think. I mean, listen. I have gone through at least 10 years of hardcore no's.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have been the first no, and it hopefully wouldn't be the last yes. So you keep moving forward. You know, if anyone knows that, it's me.
Yes, sir. All right, so let's move on to the battle round. You sang "Man in the Mirror," Michael Jackson, one of my favorite all-time performers and singers. Great song, and you sang with Andrew DeMuro. Heck of a battle, too, man. Talk about that experience.
Heck of a battle, let me tell you. First off, it was so cool to meet Sammy Hagar.
Oh, yeah.
I've gotten to know Adam a little bit, and country music and rock music, that was just in my blood, in my family. Van Halen, it was crazy. And then as you got older, you knew Sammy for he was on TV, and he's a huge brand with his liquor and his food and all of this stuff. It's crazy. And when I walked in, I went, "Oh my gosh, that's Sammy!" Like it was kind of cool. And what blew me away was to see someone so huge, so legendary, but so you wouldn't think he'd be so invested, and he just was. He was on every breath. He was taking notes. He was critiquing you.
Oh, that's great.
Critiqued me in many ways where it took me back. I'm like, oh no. For instance, he said I was over singing and you can't do that, and whatever. So he was very constructive in his criticism, and both him and Adam said that about my rehearsals, that I was singing it. I wasn't delivering it like Michael in the pocket in the rhythm, a rhythmic song, not just singing. So there were many, many, many nights that I would stay up, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then have to get up early to do whatever the next day. But I was up listening to rhythms and rhythmic tracks and the background track of Man in the Mirror. And then I would sing here, and then I would do this. So I would I lived and breathed it for as many hours as I could, trying to do my homework to prove, okay, I can do this. I really can. It's just so out of my wheelhouse that I have to bring myself into this other realm of music.
Mm-hmm.
And, so when it came down to it, I said, you know what? What will be a significant moment for me is not necessarily if I hit a high note or anything, but it will be if Adam sees the homework that I did. And he did.
He really pointed that out, too.
I was very, very grateful for that, because I did work so hard, because I was pretty scared, because that was so not my kind of song.
Right.
So, it was intense. It really was. I slept 19 out of 24 hours the following day after the battle.
Wow.
Exhausted. I was so exhausted. I was so done. I didn't see my family, nothing. I didn't even hear the phone ring. I was dead.
Yeah, mental tiredness, when you mix it up in a bottle with physical tiredness, that happens. Your body just gives out. It just shuts down.
Yeah, it did. Yep, it did, and it did. I couldn't give any more. What they did didn't show would be hilarious. I cried so hard after it, I couldn't even finish the interview process. I couldn't.
Oh, wow.
I was just so emotionally, like, I really didn't know how that was going to go down.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I really thought, well, here we go.
Yeah, and Andrew was...
For worse, or better for better.
And Andrew DeMuro was very, very good. Very, very good. That was not a walk in the park battle. That was a tough one to, you know. I had you winning too.
Awesome.
I had you winning too. I was hoping that Adam would pick you as the winner because I think you did fair and square. But man, he was great. Andrew was great also.
And he's so kind, and he's such an awesome musical artist. And he plays guitar. He sings his butt off, and he went in there. Okay, totally different from me. He went in there knowing exactly how he was going to execute that song, whether he sang before or not. He knew exactly where he was going, where I didn't sing that kind of a song. So, you know, I was like out in my field, and he taught me lessons, you know, and he's a great person. He's become a great friend, and you definitely, I hope not, haven't heard the last of him, because he's too good. He just is.
Yeah, and I hope later on in the show they have the part where they can bring back somebody. I know they've done that in some seasons in the past, and hopefully maybe they'll do that later on in the season, and he'll get a shot. All right.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
Absolutely. Okay, so I have a fan question, because of course I put this out that we're going to do this interview, so some of your fans wanted to ask questions, and I like to open it up to social sites to so they get a chance to ask you.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's great.
All right, so I have a question from Anthony Cardno, and he wanted me to tell you this. He wanted me to tell you that he's gay. It was important to him for me to convey that before I asked this question, and I guess there's a reason for it, because this question, I'm going to read it verbatim, okay? Said you've recorded a lot of great songs by other songwriters and always made them real and personal. How have your personal experiences, especially coming out, affected how you choose what songs you'll record? And would you record an album made up only of songs you've written or co-written?
There's a lot of questions within the question.
Yeah, that was. There's 2 or 3 parts there.
Well, thank you, Anthony, for your... I think you follow me on Twitter. I think I've seen that name roll around a few times, so thank you for being a fan. It means a lot. My choice... How I investigate and find songs that are good for me involves a couple of processes. For instance, I will tell you that a song like Man in the Mirror would never be in my wheelhouse because it would instantly be, people would get bored, people would lose interest, it's that kind of a song for me where it's a brilliant song, it's legendary, but it's just not a fit for Billy Gilman. So you'd be sitting in the audience and you'd start to wander, you'd start to think, okay, what time is it? Oh, is my drink empty?
Oh, yeah.
You know, when someone starts to wander like that, it's just not who you are. And so when I listen to songs, I'll listen to songs 20, 30 at a time, cover songs, original songs. And if something says to me, A, you can deliver this on your own merit, or B, you can bring in situations and make it work. For instance, I sang a song when I was young called Oklahoma, about a foster kid who meets his father for the first time. A beautiful song, such an important message, because there are so many young kids out there that don't know who their mother and father are, and I couldn't imagine that, and they're more warriors and champions than I am. But I didn't know about that kind of a situation. I come from a family of a mother and father, the same mother and father, still married, it's not my thing. But I sat there and I thought, just picture your mother and father leaving, and you're on your own, and you go to all these different homes, you don't even know who these people are. And you have to make it work, right? So if I can't sing it as a whole, where I can identify myself with it, I try to bring in storylines to make it work, so it's believable. So when I hear songs, that's what I do. It's those 2 things. Can I make it work, or is it a part of me? That's the answer to part A. And part B, I would definitely, my bank account and my accountant would love for me to record a whole album of songs that's written by me. absolutely, yes, I'd say that. But if they're not great songs, no, you always have to pick a good song, and you can't be ignorant and you can't be cocky just because you wrote a song. If it's not a great song, sit down. It's not a great song. One of the best lessons I've always learned was always surround yourself with better people than you.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, if I wrote 10, 11 great songs and whichever record label at that moment was interested in me said, okay, yeah, sure, these are great enough. These are going to be, we have 3 hits off of this, then absolutely. But you can never be closed-minded. If a song is better than yours and it's not written by you, you take it no matter what. If it reaches someone as a good positive message, inspires somebody to do better in the world, because I think that in this crazy world that we're living in right now, it takes each of us to do it as a bigger picture and to be there for one another. And so many songs can inspire that. It's amazing how music transcends all the differences. But that doesn't mean you're going to write it. You know,
True.
It just depends. If that opportunity comes, yeah, sure. But that kind of thing only happens once in a while. And Taylor Swift is one of the only ones that I've heard come around lately that's continually doing every song herself. It's pretty rare. Yeah,
true. She's awesome too, by the way. Everything about her. I love everything about her.
Yep, ditto. Fabulous, and a fabulous businesswoman. She knows what is right for her, and you can only admire that. You know, I always have.
Somebody at her stature and notoriety global, she still goes to fans' houses. She'll show up at their front doors with like gifts and prizes and. I love that stuff. It's great. All right.
That's what it's about, you know. That's what it's about.
Absolutely. Okay, one more fan question from Mary from New York City. She wants to know, Billy, how's the music industry most changed since your early days of One Voice?
Oh, that's actually a great question, because that's kind of what led me on to the show. The music industry definitely has changed immensely in regards to when I was back then, 1998, 1999, 2000, they would just literally put money in front of you on behalf of the record label. You sign a contract, you get such and such amount of money, you get such and such amount of producers, you get such and such amount of publishers. They create an artist development. We'll give you a couple songs, record them, see where you're at, see if we believe them, then we'll go from there. If they don't work, we'll scratch those, we'll take more songs. They gave you time to develop into what you thought you were. At 12 years old, a lot of it was chosen for me, and this is what you're going to do, rather than me going, okay, this is what I want to do. Which is very positive. I mean, who's going to trust a 12-year-old when you've been doing it for 25 years? I mean, let's be real. Nowadays, not so. They just don't have the money anymore with all the downloading.
Yeah.
And they're still trying to navigate how to make money with all the Spotify and the streaming and the downloading and the iTunes and the whatever. So they really don't do that anymore because it's not there. If the money is not there. And so when I came back, it was always just a no, because people were not about to invest in something that already happened. They just weren't. They weren't going to invest in something that's never happened, let alone something that happened.
Right.
Whether it's a different sound or not. So it's just changed so much, and how I looked at this was, you know, this is an amazing opportunity to sing the kind of music that I so badly wanted to sing, but it's also almost like an artist development. You're watching every few weeks, you're seeing me grow into this new artist, this new person with all these new songs. If that one didn't work, well, you change up and you do something different the next week if you can make it and stay on. So it's kind of like a televisioned artist development. And I think that's pretty brilliant. And I will tell you, one thing about this show is they hold you in such a high regard, and there's such a class act on how they want to make you look to the public and what you're feeling, and are you feeling respected? Are you okay? You know, this is your story, this is your life. They aren't pushing some motive. They aren't doing, and that to me only makes you want to work harder because they're so in your corner. And that's very, very rare, especially in today's reality TV. You know, it's always for shock value. And I think that's why this show has lasted so long, because it's just good, wholesome You can feel it. You know that these producers and these musicians and all of these people behind the genius that is this show, you can tell they're there for their artists genuinely and in like a family manner. And that's just amazing. You know, there's so much criticism and harshness in this world. It's just great that there's a show like this that's just about the goodness and how people can make a difference and be a better person, and mistakes were made in their lives or whatever, but everyone deserves a second chance. I think it's really remarkable. And so that's how it's changed. And, you know, I'm just very lucky that we have opportunities like The Voice, you know, really, when it comes down to it.
I agree. I would much rather watch The Voice than the news these days, brother. Oh, my God.
It's very sad. You know, everyone's hating on one another, and no one's... You know, I'll never forget, I was in New York when I did I did a special on September 11th, September 10th it was. And then I woke up the next morning, the towers had, were falling, and it was just the scariest thing I probably will ever experience. I hope I'll ever experience, because that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
But I never forgot going home, because we drove home, and we were able to get home by God's mercy. It took like 7 hours to get from New York to Rhode Island, my home base, when it usually only takes 2 hours.
Yeah.
But we had to stop because of these traffic, and the bridges were bombing and all this. And people were literally opening their homes, hugging you. You need food. Didn't matter who you were, what religion, what race, what gender, what struggles, whatever. There were just people wanting to help people. And that's what it's got to come back to. And storylines that The Voice shows that American and that good, wholesome, helping one another feeling. You know, I think that's part of their success. I really do. And we really need to get back to that. And the news doesn't help. You are so correct.
Yeah, it's just so dividing, and it's a breath of fresh air to watch The Voice, and like you said, watch all the backstories and just good young talent coming up, and even, you know what's great, man? What about, is his name Dan Schaefer, right? Isn't he the fella in his 50s?
Yes.
How awesome is that? How awesome is that?
I love it, and let me tell you, he has some vocal chops.
I know. Yeah, man.
Unbelievable, and such a nice guy. You'd never know but he had a lot of success.
Yeah, doing jingles and things. Yeah.
Huge, and I would never have known. And that's just supposed to show you. I mean, his wife was so sweet and humble and kind, and his son went through struggles, and he always stuck by his son's side.
Yes.
Great guy.
Yeah,
amazing guy. Amazing dad and amazing father and husband.
Absolutely.
And great TikTok talent.
Yes, sir. Okay, I got 2 more for you. I know you're busy, so I'm gonna got 2 more, and I'll let you go. One more.
Good. This has been fun. I appreciate it.
Oh man, I'm glad you're having fun. I am. I was really looking forward to doing this interview. One more fan question. His name is Kevin, and he says he's a cancer survivor, which is awesome. God bless him. He's from Los Angeles, California, and he wanted me to ask you, do you find yourself giving advice to your new voice friends, being you've been in the music business so long?
No. I could, but I don't think it's my place. I can only be there for them if they ask. I would never solicit it on.
Oh, no.
Because I think that's very rude.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If they came and said, well, you've been here, what do you think? Then maybe I would say something, but the whole point of it is I'm here right with them learning from these coaches. I'm a lot of times in the same boat. But I would always try and help someone and build them up and make them feel good as a friend.
Sure.
That happens to have a friend in the past, and maybe that can help a little bit with some more knowledge. But just to be there in general, I think, musically or not, I think it's important. I think it's part of the show. You're all there together. So I necessarily haven't, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't.
Sure, that's fair.
Right moment,
I think maybe Kevin was where he was going with that question was perhaps. I mean, if it was me, if I was on that show with you, I think I would maybe want to pull you aside and say, hey, man, how do you deal with nerves singing in front of a lot of people? I might look for advice, tips like that, maybe, if it was me. You know?
Let me tell you something. I think all the contestants had to console me because I was just
I know. Yeah, true.
I don't think they could probably see that. Well, we're not going to get any help in that department from Gilman.
That's funny. His legs are shaking. Look at him. He's flopping around like a fish out there.
He's in the corner crying like a goof. We're going to leave him alone.
That's funny. All right, brother, last thing I got for you. What's some advice you could share? This is my question. If somebody's out there and they're listening to this podcast or they're watching the show and they're on the fence, they're thinking about maybe trying out for The Voice Season 12 next season, what's some advice you can share for them?
You know, I can only say that if it's truly what you are, if it's truly who you are, if it's what you wake up every day living and breathing. For me, I started singing literally, I can't remember. It was like 17, 18 months old. So literally, I can't remember a time where I wasn't humming or singing. So it has to be all that you are. It's the only way for you because it's a tough road. And even in this voice realm, with all the work and all of the hours put into it, it just has to be all what it just has to be within your soul. And if it is that, then go for it. And if it's not, if you really like to sing, but in your gut you want to be a veterinarian, or you want to be an aide to teach, or help the world, whatever it is, if it's in a positive light, do it. I mean, we need more of that. But if you're a singer and you just love it like I do, it's a fabulous show. You're going to fall in love with all of the people behind the cameras. It's just a great organization and a great camp. And I'd say go for it. You have my blessing, and I would never ever steer anyone wrong because I've seen enough of it. And like you say, it's time to create some positivity and come together. So I'd say go for it, and you have my blessing and kick butt, you know?
Yeah, quick shout out to the Voice band, too. The band that The Voice uses. It's fantastic.
Paul is fantastic. Everyone, but the musical director and arranger, Paul, he is so fabulous. But the thing is, they're all so kind. It's like, is this real life?
That's awesome, man. That's great.
It's just as great. You sit there and you go, I've dealt with some divas, and they just all just want to create great music for you. They don't care. It's just crazy. It's almost weird.
That's incredible. All right, man. Well, before I let you go, I want to give you an opportunity to share with the fans where they can follow you on your Instagram or Twitters or websites you want to talk about. Let's do that before we wrap it up.
Yeah, you can. It's twitter.com/Billy Gilman. It's Instagram, and it's Billy Gilman Official. And then that's the same as my Facebook, facebook.com/Billy Gilman Official. And I'm on them all the time, and I'm answering questions and taking pictures and probably annoying people, but hopefully inspiring them too.
Thank you so much for doing this. I really, really enjoyed this, and maybe we can get you back on down the road a little bit when the season progresses for a follow-up.
I'd be happy. God willing, if we keep going, I would be happy to. That'd be awesome. I appreciate your time, man. Thank you.